I finally made it to Universal Studios in Orlando. Are you ready for Halloween Horror Nights? So I had to come in here and record a little bit in studio because it's just too hard to do it all in the field and the sound is not great. And if there's music in the background, I can't have that. So now I am here to talk about HHN. I'm going to explain how the video is going to work. I'll lightly touch on, Universal Studios Resort and the Adventure Island. And then I will talk about HHN and my RIP tour experience and actually just HHN in general. I'm about to start the road trip to Florida and Halloween Horror Nights, which I'm so excited about. It's my first time. I've never been. And I am taking one of my dogs. Can you say hi, Mulder? The only reason I'm bringing Mulder and not the other dogs is because Mulder has diabetes and he has heart disease, so I have to give him insulin shots twice a day, and so the other dogs are fine. I mean, they're all senior poochies, but Mulder's got special needs. So he's coming with me. That should be fun. I finally made it to Universal Studios in Orlando, and today I'm just doing regular park and the Adventure Island or something, I think. I've never done either one of those. And then tomorrow is Halloween Horror Nights, which I am so excited for. Oh my God, and the city walk here is super awesome. So that's something that you should definitely check out as well. I've never done this, so it's all new and it's all fresh. I started out at City Walk and it's really awesome. It's just outside of the park and it has tons of shops, tons of restaurants, some clubs, and lots of cool places to hang out. For me, one of the big draws was the Universal Studios store, which has tons of Halloween horror merchandise, and it's 30% off right now, which is pretty amazing. I love tons of this stuff. Now, I was very, very good. I only got a hoodie and I got a Chucky popcorn bucket, which was really awesome. And it was only $20. I think those things started out at like $45. So that's an excellent deal. I have a better shot of these little boo buckets that are also $20 later on, and they're actually lit up. I know a lot of the merchandise is actually on their website, and guess what? It's 50% off. Yeah, it doesn't show that it's 50% off, but I know the prices of the items and I know that everything is showing is 50% off. So that's an excellent deal because these things are quite expensive actually. I will say though that the quality of the merchandise is really good. Everything seems to be made from nice materials. It seems to be secure, sturdy. So sometimes, you get what you pay for. There's a few items that I really wanted and I didn't get, and it's very tempting right now. To be honest, I was a little surprised by the variation of merchandise that they actually had. I don't know why I would be. I mean, it's Universal, they know what they're doing, but the bucket hats, the Apple Watch bands, some of the things they had were just very interesting and kind of wild and obscure for me. I would love to have one of the Apple Watch bands, but my wrists are so small. Every time I buy them, they never fit, and it's such a disappointment, but they are super cute. And look at these phone cases. They look awesome, and some of them are supposed to have like a 3D effect. I think that's super cool. Just so you know, I did not see the phone cases on their online store. This Hello Kitty Chucky mashup merch is super popular right now. I know that some of these items were going for like $100 on eBay and stuff. But there's plenty of merchandise. You don't need to overspend. They're reasonably priced here, and they are very, very, very cute. I really like some of those bags. Of course, they remind me of Loungefly bags, and I love them. And you can never have enough. Cups and water bottles. I know that there's like a debate on the design of this HHN merchandise. I really like it. I like most of the designs, if not all of them. I like the neon colors. I like a ton about it. I love Little Boo. I don't know why people have an issue with Little Boo. I love jack-o'-lanterns though, so maybe that's just a me thing, but I think it's pretty fabulous. And judge me if you want, but I love freaking fanny packs. They're so functional and so easy to use, and I really wanted this. I mean, it's bloody. Therefore, I love it. Then you have their little screamers, blind bags, and the Ghostbusters merchandise, which was super nice. This jacket is very cool in person. And here is the Chucky popcorn bucket I got. It's voice activated. So not only is that store jam-packed with HHN merch, but there's also little kiosks around that have additional merchandise. And there were even items I didn't see in the store. These places might be a more enjoyable experience to shop at because you're not in a crowded store where you could barely walk around. As I have mentioned, I do have panic attacks, and being in crowds where I can't walk is very distressing for me. So I did kind of find looking at these kiosks more enjoyable. Of course, I love Chucky, and Chucky with Tiffany is even better. And now for the rest of Universal City Walk. Oh, here's a little ad for the Dead Coconut Club, which is actually Red Coconut Club that transforms into the Dead Coconut Club. And this year it is featuring Blumhouse, and the theme is vamps. I'll have more on that later. So not only does this place look cool, but wow. Let me tell you, Voodoo Donuts, oh my gosh. I did get a dozen of their donuts, and they are definitely some of the best donuts I have ever had. So they obviously look cool, and they put everything in a pink box, which is pretty amazing. And they were actually remarkably affordable for the type of donuts that they are. $30 for a dozen, which I've paid more for worse. Look at how beautiful the sky looks this day. It really was a very pleasant day in Florida. I know it can be very, very, very hot, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, I get it. You think I live in Georgia and it's really hot. And don't get me wrong, it does get hot, but it doesn't get that hot. And it gets cool. And we have seasons, and we have fall, and we have leaves changing color, and I love it. So basically, you take a walk through Universal City Walk, and then you can enter the park straight from there. Just know if you're going to visit Universal City Walk, it is paid parking. Now, if you're staying at one of the resorts, you can take a shuttle, and even some of the surrounding hotels, you can take a shuttle. So this is actually where HHN happens. So you'll see lots of things for HHN, but they'll just be closed at the moment. So I didn't check out the third film, Day One. Did you check out Day One? I heard it was pretty good. It looked like it was pretty good, but I can't wait to check out the house. Truth be told, I only came here to go and visit Halloween Horror Nights, but I stayed a couple of extra days, so I thought, well, I'm gonna go ahead and check out the park, or parks technically, and I'm really glad that I did. They are really beautiful. There is a lot to see, and I guess I got into the park pretty early because it was very quiet and not crowded and honestly really nice. I love the facades that they have on most of these buildings and how New York looks. Here are two little shops that will be open for HHN that will sell light goodies, and these are related to the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire House, or maze as they call them. I was really awful with my plans. I truly just thought that I would walk through the parks and that would be it. So I didn't get any sort of express pass, so I only rode a few rides because the lines were pretty long. I always recommend the express passes for everything you do. It helps immensely. The amount of work put into these places is really, really cool. And I do love that there are multiple year-round Christmas store locations through here. And there is one Halloween store as well, which obviously was my favorite. And you'll see that at Islands of Adventure. Oh my gosh, did I get it right this time? I think it's important to note that Universal Studios does close early when they have HHN happening. I think they typically close around 7 p.m., but they close early at 5 p.m. Well, they do have HHN so that they can prep and prepare for the event. And so if you are planning on visiting and you really want to see the park more than you want to see HHN, I think that it's probably best to go at another time. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with Universal Studios and that they have the park split up into different areas. And of course, one of my favorites that I was very excited about, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, specifically at Universal Studios. It is the Diagon Alley portion of it. At Islands of Adventure, they have Hogsmeade. And at the Epic Universe, which is going to be a new park for Universal, opening up in May, they will also have another section of Harry Potter. They're very clever with this. They know that people really love and enjoy Harry Potter and want to experience it all. And they even have Hogwarts Express take you between the parks, which is brilliant and wonderful, and it's a fun little ride. I have to tell you that Diagon Alley looks absolutely amazing. If I had to compare it to Hogsmeade, which I'll show you later, I don't know, both are equally beautiful in their own way. Diagon Alley is just very, very cool and feels, like you're in a back alley. As I was walking through this, all I could think about is how awesome it would be if you and a group of friends could have access to this area without, other people coming in and LARP and LARP and LARP and LARP. Just LARP through this whole area. It would be amazing. Oh my gosh. It is such an amazing setup. It would really make you feel like you're actually in the world of Harry Potter. Oh, I just realized. LARPing is live action role playing. Yes, it's very nerdy. It's basically where you get dressed up and you become this character and you present as this character and you interact with others as this character and they are themselves other characters, and it's very silly but very fun and super awesome. I did eat at the Leaky Cauldron when I was there, and of course I had the butterbeer, which was amazing. That is so good. I also had the bangers and mash, which was actually not bad. I mean, I don't typically enjoy park food. It's okay for what it is, but it's never usually great. I do recommend the butterbeer, however. Really, truly, it was delicious. It's so delicious, in fact, that I have been looking up recipes so that I can make it at home. I don't know if it's going to taste anywhere near as good as the stuff that they have at the park, but I'm going to try it out. Speaking of people dressing up for Diagon Alley, I know I'm avoiding showing most people, but I really did think there was going to be a lot more people dressed up in costume and in robes and everything for the Diagon Alley. But no, mainly everyone was just dressed as their normal selves. I did see a lot of wands, however. They do have interactive wands where you can interact with different things in the Hogwarts world, which I think is very cool. I didn't bother with that because I didn't have enough time for it, but next time, for sure. I know I'm pretty easy when it comes to entertainment, but I have to admit that just walking around and looking at all of these buildings and soaking in the atmosphere was something that was enough for me. It made me very happy, and I love that dragon. Something I had no idea that they had in the park is Krusty Land, or it's actually Springfield. For you Simpsons fans out there, which I love The Simpsons. I mean, not as much as I love South Park, because I do love my South Park, but I love The Simpsons as well. And when I saw this, I was like, holy moly. Like, the way they build these and the way it feels so immersive. They have so many different little touches here and there and everywhere, and it is just so cool. I was just happy just looking at all of this stuff. I'm not going to lie to you, I was very tempted by several of these games, but I also know that these games are a losing proposition, and therefore I cannot do it. Like, there is no way I could do it. I just could not do it, knowing that it is not going to happen for me. I mean, come on. They have the Quickie Mart, and I love how all of the merchandise perfectly goes with The Simpsons, and a lot of it was super awesome as well. The entire store looked like it was exactly where it should be. It's kind of shocking that I actually did not purchase anything. Nothing from here, even though it was all very cool. Look at these Duff. Look at these Duff beer. Oh God, everything that I kept seeing, I just kept seeing and being more and more impressed with how much of Springfield they put into this area and how much I loved the entire look. Look at this, Jebediah Springfield. I mean, come on. And that statue looks awesome. And of course, they have the Krusty Burger. You got your donuts here. I mean, you basically are in Springfield. And let me tell you, if I had not already eaten, I would have gotten those donuts and the tacos for 100% certainty. But I already got some donuts, and then I got my bangers and mash. And then we got to see the DeLorean from Back to the Future, which is really awesome. And as this time was rolling around, the park started getting busier, so it was a little bit harder to kind of maneuver around, but I was lucky enough to get some free time with the vehicle. Oh, and I came in from the other side, but I'm assuming this is what you would see when you come in from the other direction, which is actually precious. I love the little park areas that they have throughout, and here's another area that is getting ready for HHN. So apparently, from what we were told, E.T. is one of the original rides from this park. Like, it's like from the 80s, or it was built in the 80s, and I don't think it opened until the 90s. And apparently, they are going to re-update it or revamp it. We rode it, and it was okay. But I do think after it's revamped, it'll probably be super awesome. Here you can see the beginnings of the Blood Eagle and the Torture Fair. Honestly, the more I kept seeing, the more excited I became. I love these Pharaoh dudes. They're so awesome. And I love that they're interactive and chase you. I really wanted to ride the Mummy ride, but I was just too short on time. So I had to head over to Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure has a completely different feel from Universal Studios. It definitely does have an adventure type feel to it. There are sections that you go through that feel like you're in a living comic book. There's also a Jurassic Park area and a Skull Island area, which is awesome. Here is another one of those all year round Christmas stores, which was actually very cool. And the Halloween store is in this section of the park as well. So therefore, by default, it is a very cool area. If I had to compare this to Universal Studios, I don't think I could. This one does have a ton of amazing eye candy. I mean, look at all of these comic-related buildings and cafes and shops, and I mean, it's amazing. It's so much fun and it's so cool. It's just very different, but each one does feel like you're in a completely different world. And that's what makes these parks so special. And they didn't just focus on modern comics. I love that they have all of these nods to these older vintage comics. I mean, the look of them is very cool. And who doesn't love Betty Boop? I think everyone knows who Betty Boop is. At least I hope everyone does. Now, while I didn't have a ton of time, I did make it through the entire park and I rode a couple rides, which you'll see in a bit, and they were amazing here. I did hear that the shows were very cool here. I only saw one show at my time while I was in Orlando, and that was at HHN. So I didn't see any of the shows that they had here, but I did hear that they were great. And I think that they have a good mix of things to do for adults and for children. It does appear to be more visually stimulating, so I think the kids might like this area more because of the colors, because of the way that it looks and the comics and everything. But there are some very cool Jurassic Park rides and things. And then you come to this park's Harry Potter area, which is Hogsmeade, like I mentioned before, and it is completely different. I love this as well, though. I don't know which one I love more. Maybe Diagon Alley, maybe by a hair, but this area is gorgeous. Look at that ride. It's amazing. And we did ride that, and that was super duper duper fun, just so you know. A lot of people apparently get sick on it, not me. It's called Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and it's basically like one of those motion simulation rides, and it does throw you around quite a bit, but not too bad. You cannot have any loose items at all. They actually made me put my bag in a locker, but there are free lockers just outside of the ride that are easy to access with your park card. They have honeydukes here, which is awesome. It's a very cool area and very Harry Potter, just a different area. Love the snow. I'm sure during Christmas or the holidays, it's even better than it is right now. If you go between the parks on the Hogwarts Express, it's very cool. You actually sit in like a little train compartment, and it's almost like you get to see a show. You get to see outside of the windows, and then they close the door and it has frosted glass that you actually see images on as well, and it's super neat. And here we have All Hallows Eve Boardwalk Boutique, which I love this store. I love the look and the design of the store. Now, granted, it does have a lot of the Halloween Horror Nights, the same sort of stuff that you saw at the other store, but it also has some different and more interesting items and some cool masks and things. But the decoration and decor of the store is really what sets it apart. It really does just have this whole Halloween feel throughout. And it's got these little spooky vibes. It's not a very large store, so it was a little bit hard to walk around, but kind of worth it. It just has a whole vibe. I love that Chucky fan. This is the only place that I saw it, and it's so neat. I didn't get it. I probably should have. And here is that little Boo popcorn bucket lit up. Oh my gosh, it is so much cuter lit up. I did get the Chucky one though. I don't need 2 popcorn buckets that I'm actually not going to put any popcorn in. Or do I? I didn't record anything on the ride here. This ride was way too crazy to be able to record anything on. But I did record some of the waiting area for the ride. And that's actually pretty cool. I really like the sorting hat. Basically, that's how you sit on the ride. Honestly, I don't know whether this was my favorite ride or King Kong, because King Kong was also another motion ride, and I love these. They're so cool. I love the feeling of them. And this one just looked amazing. Here's just a small little portion of it. And now it's finally time to get to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm on my way to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm super excited. Yesterday was great at Universal Studios Park and the Adventure Island, but today I am super duper 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 excited about going to Halloween Horror Nights because it is my first time. I've never done it, so I really don't know what to expect, but I've kind of read up about it and I've heard a lot of things. And I've had a lot of friends, of course, that go, so let's do it. Also, I did bring bracelets so I could do like a bracelet trade because I heard that that's like kind of a big thing around here, but I don't know how legitimate that is, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I want to experience it all. I got really lucky because it was an amazing day. Since we got the RIP package or the VIP package, whatever you want to call it, valet is included. And I didn't know how that was going to work, but they have their system down. Valet was super easy. All you do is you pull up and you valet, and then when you go in to get your RIP or VIP tickets, they send it in and that's it. It's that simple. Just mention it to your tour guide. Since the Dead Coconut Club is actually part of HHN, because it only becomes that during Halloween Horror Nights, I'm going to do that first and include it here. It is open on select nights for HHN from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. And it's so awesome. This year's theme was vamps, and of course it is a bar. It has a dance floor. It has some amazing neon lights, and mainly maybe because this year it had an 80s theme to go along with that. I am absolutely in love with all of the neon lighting they have here. Oh my gosh. I want some of these signs so bad. I just can't tell you. And upstairs, they have a sort of museum to Blumhouse films, which I actually did not record. So I apologize for that. But they have some amazing cocktails, some awesome tunes, and it's super fun to get you in the mood for Halloween Horror Nights. So you can either come here before, you can actually maybe even come here afterward if you get finished with Halloween Horror Nights in enough time, or you could just come here and hang out. Yay! I've got my ticket, and now we're in the holding area. So we wait. We wait until it starts. Basically, Universal Studios Resort closes at 5 p.m. on the nights where they have HHN, so that they can obviously prepare for HHN. They open the doors for HHN, I believe at 6 or 6:30. Honestly, I can't remember. And they have 10 haunted houses that you can go through, and they have 5 scare zones. They also have a few rides open as well. Since we got the VIP or RIP tickets, we were able to enter from a different area, I guess, from everyone else. And it's, as you can see, it's still pretty light, it's still pretty early. It's really just about to get started. And I don't know why, but the girls in front of us just kept getting got by the scare actors. And it was actually pretty fun to watch. It's kind of cool to see it all in the daytime, and you can see some of these props. These props actually look good in the daytime and in the evening with the cool lighting. That you can actually do a daytime tour, like a behind the scenes type tour. Now with the RIP tour, we did get to go behind the scenes. Like we walked through the park, like behind areas and stuff, because they weren't scary areas or anything like that. We weren't missing anything, which was actually really cool. We got to see them putting on makeup and all kinds of stuff. Depending upon the time of your tour, you can head to Cafe La Bamba, where they give you food, and that is included. And it's basically like a buffet style. They have a few different types of food. I actually enjoyed most of it. It was actually pretty decent. And they have bins of like waters, sodas, and Cokes. And you can have as many as you want, and you can take one with you if you want to as well. And now I am here in the La Bamba Cafe, and we are getting the food before we do the tour, which is actually pretty good. They've got a bloody bag, which has some really cool french fries, and there's tacos, fajitas, and empanadas, which is one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat now, okay? Bye. Welcome to take as long as you need to eat. Now, after you finish eating, you leave La Bamba and you go and meet up with your tour guide. at the Universal Orlando's Horror Makeup Show. It's crazy how dark it got so fast. And then you all head out, and your tour guide, as you can see mine here,
hello,
carries with them a light stick, and they hold it up, and different tour guides have different colors, so you know what color you're supposed to follow, and they guide you through the entire Halloween Horror Nights experience. You can book a private RIP tour experience, but it's very expensive. But you can have up to, I believe, 12 people in your group. But since we didn't have 12, we were put with about 10 other people. And actually, we wound up really kind of getting to know everyone, and we really liked everyone in our group. So that was a win.
Help me, please! Get me out of here!
Sorry, Daniel. What are you looking at? You're next.
I'll talk about all 10 houses in just a bit, but first I want to talk about the scare zones, which I absolutely loved. I thought they were so much fun, all of them. Maybe it's because, yes, I did finally get my turn, and the scare actors were coming after me, which is my favorite. I really enjoy it. I just realized I should probably explain what scare zones are. And it is something that HHN came up with. I mean, we've had areas like this before in other haunts, but HHN is the one that put a name to what these are. And it's basically different areas around the map, and they're thematic, or like Blumhouse is one, you know, you've got the Torture Fair is another, where you have concentrated areas of scare actors and you go through and you know what to expect. I think there's ways to avoid these, but I don't know why you would want to, because they're wonderful. Also, with the RIP package, you get to stop at a couple of bars that are only exclusive to other RIP tour guests. Here's the view from one of them. I love how well you can see the ride. We're at our first bar stop on the RIP tour, and it's nice. I don't really drink, so I got mocktails. This one's actually delicious. What's this called? A surreal soda. We did the Insidious house, the Ghostbusters house, the triplets. It's been awesome so far, and I love the scare zones. That might be one of my favorite things. And it's only $8.14. And we've gone through 5 houses. Yeah. Crazy. You're not allowed to film in the houses, so that's why I don't have any footage of it. So I mainly just have to talk about it. And obviously I didn't want to take my time when I was there to talk about it. So I'm just gonna talk about it here. So I'll briefly touch on the houses and share my thoughts about them. The one that seems to be the most popular is Insidious the Further. It is what people are universally saying is the scariest. And yes, I liked it. I'm not a huge Insidious fan, if you don't know. It's okay. I don't mind it. I just don't love it. I don't find it scary at all. I don't find it that compelling. But the house was nice, and I thought there was plenty of scare actors, and it was okay. There's also Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and it is based on the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire film. And I have to say, this house is very cute and very fun, but it is not scary, but I do think it's very cool. I love that it's so cold, and I think in this one they had snow. They had snow in a few of the houses, and I loved it. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I'm like, it's snowing! So the house is very well made, and they have these little Stay Puft marshmallows throughout, which were very, very, very cool. We also have A Quiet Place, which is another fan favorite. And I have to say, I did really like the first Quiet Place film. The second one frustrated me more than I enjoyed it. But I have to say that this house was very, very, very cool. I really liked the animatronics. And let me tell you, there was a moment where they have like a hall and it is like dark, and all they use is like sounds, and I thought that was fantastic. Honestly, I feel like if they wanted to up the game on that house, they should have utilized that a few times throughout. It kind of gives you like a reprieve from the other stuff that's happening, and so it forces you to like slow down and just listen, and just hearing the sounds I think is very effective. But of course it's like completely dark. But I loved that aspect of it. Not my favorite house though, I don't think. We also have Goblin's Feast. This is definitely up on my list. It is basically goblins that eat humans, of course. And you go through, and what I love about this house is that it feels like a video game. For some reason, it reminded me of like Baldur's Gate, like the Goblin Village, because you have these goblins in their homes and they're just cooking people. And then there's a lot of scare actors in this one, and they all look different. Each goblin has a different personality. I think this house was very, very cool. I loved the concept of this. It was very simple, very easy to understand, and oh my gosh, I can't remember what they say at the end. Oh, like the food's escaping when you leave or something. This one got me. It was very cute, very fun. Now, this one might be my favorite overall completely, and I know this sounds shocking because if you were there and you were to go through it, a lot of people probably don't even really love this one, but I love it. And it is Slaughter Cinema 2. So let me tell you, as a big horror movie buff, this is totally right up my alley, because it is, you basically go through and you see like a movie poster, and then that's the theme for this quick next little segment. And you see another one, and then so everything flows in that theme, and it is so fun and awesome. Like there was there are like these mummy strippers. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember all the names of the movies, but mummy strippers unwrapped or something, and they have like a stripper pole. It's so funny. They have a shark one. I mean, this was super duper fun, and it felt really quick because like you just had like little snippets. So that might be my #1 house out of all of these. Yep. Might be my #1. It was really well done. It was a lot of fun. It was quick, it was cool. You could totally understand exactly what was happening the entire time. You knew, okay, this is the poster, this is what we're doing. This is the poster, this is what we're doing. It was very simple. Sometimes simple is just best. And I really hope they do another one of these, because since this is the second, I know they had one of these before, and oh my gosh, I think this is brilliant. I think they should do this. They should make a different one every year. And then maybe they should make these as movies. I'm just saying, maybe they deserve to be films. Maybe? Universal? Another one that I really enjoyed is the Triplets of Terror, of course, because this is a slasher. It totally feels like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've got these triplets, and they have, you know, done some massacring, and their birthday's in March. What I like is how you go through it and you see like this, where a podcaster is, and you see different articles and things, and how you find out about it all. You see the birthday cakes. It's very cool. It's very fun. It feels very Rob Zombie, very House of a Thousand Corpses kind of family. And that just worked for me. It was very simple, nothing crazy, nothing off the wall, very straightforward. Sometimes that's what's best, you know? The Museum Deadly Exhibits. Okay, so this one follows something called a rotting stone that like causes decay or something wherever it goes. This is my least favorite house, easily my least favorite house. I could not understand it. I mean, I kind of conceptually understand it, but it didn't translate. It didn't feel like what it was supposed to be. I walked through and was super confused the entire time. Not a bad house. None of these are bad, okay? And the next one, Monstruos, the monsters of Latin America. This is a fun one. So basically, there are different sections of monsters of Latin America. I think most people are gonna be able to recognize quite a few of them. They try to talk about it, you know, as you're going through, but really the truth is it's very hard to tell a story with words when you're in the haunted houses, because it's very hard to hear. I mean, there's people screaming and all this kind of stuff going on, so I could hardly hear anything in most of the houses, and I actually have very good hearing, but I did enjoy this. I liked the sights, I liked the visuals, and at the end, there is this phenomenal owl animatronic. My favorite. Not my favorite house, but it's not bad. But the owl looks super cool. I really liked that. So that was a big win for that house. Then we have the Major Sweets Candy Factory. This is an interesting house because to me, this one feels different. It feels more like an old school haunt. Like there's a lot of loud noises. And then you know how they like bang things on the ground and it causes the ground to shake? Like they have a lot of that too. So that's effective. I mean, there's a reason why they did that in old haunted houses. Not my favorite, but I don't mind it. The story here is okay. Some of it is okay. I mean, really, honestly, this house was cool. I like conceptually, it's kind of neat, but not my favorite. I kind of feel like it would have been cooler if like the sweets were monsters or something. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. It was okay. And last, but certainly not least, we have Eternal Bloodlines. This is an amazing all-female house, okay? And it is about, you know, Van Helsing and Dracula. They're all female versions, you know, the Mummy. Okay, so let me say this. I freaking love the idea of this house. I love the concept of this house. It was very hard to understand and translate because they're telling a massive story in a quick little walkthrough, and that's super hard. The design of this house was super sweet. Like it was beautiful, and it did have snow. It did have snow, which is my favorite. But it was very hard to understand it because people were talking to try to tell the story. And like I said, you've got to know that you have people going through and people are screaming and this and that. So it's quite hard. It would be easier to read some of this stuff. But obviously we don't have time to read it because you're just like going through the house like in a conga line. So that's not gonna happen either. That's why telling such a big story in such a short amount of time isn't always gonna be successful. So, oh, man. I love the concept of this, and I have a feeling that this did not translate well, and some people aren't gonna like this, so they're gonna probably forgo any stories like this or any houses like this, but I think that's a mistake. I think it just needs to be revamped, redone in a way that's much simpler at its core, and that would work. Like, you know, just show, you know, what's happening. That's what I'm dumb. One of the highlights of HHN is the show. And this year it's the Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. And oh my gosh, it is wonderful, phenomenal. And also know, if you do the RIP, you get VIP seating, you get, I had such an awesome seat. I mean, they were right there, like right there. It was so fabulous. But the show is full of acrobatics. They kept talking about how sexy it was, and okay, I mean, I guess. I have a lot of friends who do this stuff. So I've seen a lot, and this was very toned down, very tame, very, very tame. But the acrobatics and everything that went into it was wonderful. You know, they've got the fire, they've got the magicians, they've got all the cool little stuff there. And it was awesome. I would have actually considered seeing it a second time. That's how much I really enjoyed it. Yeah. All in all, I have to tell you that my HHN RIP tour experience was wonderful. I did see the wait times for some of the houses were like 70 minutes or something, and that's wild. Like, that's crazy, because with the RIP, you just get to go up and go right in. It's really awesome. We did everything that we could possibly do and still had hours after to go and do whatever we wanted. And the RIP tour in Orlando lets you have an express pass for the rides only afterward. Have you been to HHN? What's your favorite haunted house? And are you planning on going next year? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do hope that you have the most amazing day, my spooky darlings. I would like to say a big, wonderful thank you to my Patreon members. I love you dearly. Thank you so much for the support. Chris Mizzictino, Jimmy Hoare, Eddie, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, Mickey B, Robert, and Deal Demon. And it's all for you. Yeah, I'm probably gonna cut that out, okay?